Titles, go.
2019 BP.
Scum saving.
Chopsticks and duct tape.
A hookup's a hookup.
10,000 sucks.
No one messes with the crying man.
Breaking balls.
Japanese gibberish.
Everybody loves a train wreck.
It's true. The Yankees jockstrap.
Why did it have to be Buddy the elf?
The tiger effect.
Let's do this.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, no. No.
Did you just pull out the jack?
Yes.
We've
Wait.
been jacked.
Oh, no.
Wait, that's going wrong.
We can't. Oh, my
The
God.
title section has been hijacked and he's not even here.
Warning. What you are about to hear contains explicit language, adult themes, and potentially disturbing content. The views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts and do not reflect the opinions of anyone else, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. This podcast is intended for an immature audience and should not be listened to by anyone, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. You know, fuck it. You've been warned.
Maybe.
Hello, welcome to this week's edition of Geek Pod. I'm your host, Paul.
I'm Hugh.
I'm Corbs.
And I'm Kev.
No Jack tonight. He's just much like Taylor Swift. He's got a lot going on right now. Guys,
He's got to shake it off,
he probably already has tone
or does he? Or he's got a blank check.
Now shake it off.
Is that as far as you go with the Taylor Swift references?
That's all I got. That's it.
Yeah.
He had a cruel summer. That's another one, I think. Anyway,
That's
guys.
That's Demi Lovato.
Okay. What's got you geeked?
Can I go first? Can I please?
Please do.
Can I please go first? Can I please? Okay. So I get a couple of messages on the way home tonight. Now, I don't look at my phone when I'm driving, as Paul can attest, because he has texted me several times while I've been driving, and I do not see it until I get to where I'm going. To his dismay, because apparently that's what young people do these days, is they text and drive. But anyway, so I get home, I look at my phone. Oh, I got these text messages. Oh, they're from old friends that I used to work with when I worked here in Mexico at the Oswego Bosies. They're having a party for one of the fellows I used to work with, Brian, who's retiring. He's at a point in his life where he's like, I've had it, I'm done, and he's off to the next adventure. And so I stopped over. We had to run around and get Kathy's car, got new tires put on. And then I stopped over there, and I've been there since 6:30, and what is it, 8:30 now. So I spent a couple hours there with those guys, shooting the shit, catching up on old times. And man, what a great group of guys. Just people I've worked with, not just at Bosie's, but at Fulton when I was at Fulton School District, and that I'd known outside of school, the school environment that I worked in before I met Paul. BP, we'll call it BP. And it's just great catching up, hearing about all the changes that have been made in the school districts and some of the things that they've been working on and some of the really cool stuff they've been doing. And what the most fun thing that happened, because there's some new folks too, new people I haven't met before. I walk in and all these people turn around and they're all like, "Come!"
So you're kind of like Norm?
It was pretty funny. So all these people that knew me, and then there was some other folks that I didn't know, and they're all like, "Who are you? And why does everyone know you?" So it was funny, and I had an opportunity to walk around and to reacquaint myself with some old friends, and some people that I haven't seen. An old boss of mine that I had at Fulton, and now she's at Oswego. and the secretary that worked in the IT department, Laura, she was there and walked up behind her and gave her a big hug. And it was just so good to see all these. The fellow that's retiring, his best friend, Tony, who had moved to South Carolina or North Carolina, one of the Carolinas, gone down there, worked for the school district in the state that he was in. Their school districts are county based. So the entire county is the school district, but what they have is they'll have different villages or towns or whatever that have their own schools, but they pool their resources in a way that's completely different from other places. So they can do more, they can do greater things, they can be more efficient and provide more for the school districts. So seeing him, he'd recently retired. Excuse me. I have been drinking since 6:30, so there's that. Anyway, so seeing him, I haven't seen him since he left Oswego Bows. He left shortly after I started there. And it's kind of a theme. I come in and people go out. I don't know what's up with that. Started at Barkley, and Brandon left. It's coincidence? I don't know. So it was just great seeing all these folks and talking to my old boss from Fulton, and that was really good. And we're going to catch up. We're going to have some coffee together. One of the things we used to do. So she hired me away from BOCES as a network administrator, and we used to, in order to kind of get our plans together and get everything organized, we'd go out and we'd get coffee together, and we'd sit with our laptops, and we would just like map out the year's worth of stuff that we were going to do. So we made a plan to get together and do that again, and just to catch up and see how things are going. So it was a great night. It's only, like I said, it's only been a couple of hours really hanging out with those folks, but it really showed me how much I missed them and how much I was just so happy to catch up with them again. So this holiday season, I'm really happy to reconnect with old friends.
Nice. That's very cool. I'm sure
So
half of that isn't the alcohol talking, but
None of it's the alcohol talking. I'm totally happy.
because you're drinking alcohol. So you said did you work at Fulton City Schools?
I did. I from Oswego. So I worked at Oswego County BOCES from 04 to like 13, 14. And then I worked for Fulton City School District from 14 until like 18, 19. And then there was a little bit of an interim between Fulton and Barkley, but then I was at Barkley from 19 on.
So when you worked at Fulton, did you work with a guy by the name of Scott Murphy? In the IT department?
Scott was not in the IT department at that time.
Okay. He's a friend of mine that he's been in the field for forever, but he's worked at a couple different places. I know Fulton was one. He worked at Cataract and Grant, and I worked at SRC. So
you guys remember this is being recorded, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Is that bad?
I'm just saying you guys are throwing a lot of names and companies around and stuff.
I haven't said any last names. Corbs is the only one that said last names.
That's true. So I was just wondering if you worked with him, because one of the guys that I work with now at where I work now used to work with Scott at SRC. So that was one of the first things that, and he actually works with a buddy of mine that I golf with. He also is like the plant manager at SRC, so he knows the guy that I work with. So
I interviewed with SRC twice, and apparently I'm not smart enough for them. So Scott is obviously above me.
No, I don't think you're. To be honest with you, I don't really know, but I just know that I know he was there as a like a manager, but he took a step back. He's just now just whatever.
I'd like to put a pitch in for that. Being a manager isn't all it's cut out to be. It's not necessarily for everybody.
Right.
It sure as fuck wasn't for me. Anyway.
All right, Corbs, you want to go next?
Sure, why not?
All right.
So what's got me geeked is, well, you guys already know, I my company that I work for was getting rid of a bunch of laptops. So I and stuff that we're recycling, as long as it's been completely wiped, like we kill disc everything before we throw it all away. So there was a bunch of laptops that we had killed, and they're like, well, if you want them, take them. They're only a couple years old.
Wow.
So I was like, all right, I took two. I took one for me, one for my mom, because my mom plays phones on her or games on her phone, and she holds it like this close to her face. Because and she's got bad eyes, but I figured the screen will be bigger, a little bit bigger for her. She could see when she's looking at emails and stuff like that, and if she's trying to surf the internet, as opposed to using a magnifying glass with writing that's this big, one letter on the screen at a time, type of thing. So
what model did you get, Corbs?
I got a Precision 7520. So
Well, I guess Christmas is all set at your house, huh?
Right.
well, yeah, I mean, and I bought my son a brand new laptop from Dell.
Why?
Even a Dell.
Why?
Why would I buy a Dell, or why did I buy a?
Why would you buy your son anything? Tell him to get a fucking job.
Well, he had the money. He had the money for it, but I told him I would pay half of it. He had to pay half.
Nice.
So he bought a game. We bought him a gaming laptop and all that. And we're in the midst of hooking it up. I'm getting because I have like power strips down underneath this desk that are just hanging up off the floor. So I'm putting 2x4s on the wall to put the power strips on.
That is the correct way. Yes.
To do that stuff, and then I bought him a couple of shelves for his Xbox and his Switch and his DS and all that stuff, and it's off to the left of his TV that's mounted to the wall, so they're mounted on the wall. So we're trying to get
that is the correct way. Yes.
Yeah, so we're trying to get it all set up correctly and cable management through the whole thing and whatnot. So
cable management. Yeah, that's definitely the correct way. I don't have that.
Yeah, I don't really have it either. You should see the back of my PC that I don't use it. But I go to work and I put install PCs at work, and the cable management is fantastic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Could you come work for us? Because the mofos we got working for us don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take pride in my work. It has to look right, and if it doesn't look right, I will go back and redo it.
Are you looking for work, Corbs? Just curious.
You always got to look.
Oh, okay. That's enough. We can talk later.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's what's got me geeked. I sent a picture to Paul, so I got my laptop and I have my monitor that I had on my old PC just above it, behind it. So I have dual monitors now. I have the monitor for my laptop and my old monitor, and they're hooked together. So it's a good setup for now. I gotta buy a cable. I actually borrowed one from work.
All right. So Corbs, I'm gonna send you a picture of my setup, and I expect you to have the same thing within the week.
Well, Corbs, just a tip. Next time you're going to take a picture and send it to me of your computer screens, can you minimize your grinder screen first, please?
No. Don't make fun of my gay porn.
I'm just saying I didn't want to see it. You can do whatever you need to do. That's okay.
A hookup's a hookup. It's fine.
Come on, Paul. You know you're on there.
No.
I swiped right on you.
I'm sure you did. Wait, is that? I don't know how that works.
I got no idea.
On Grindr, the swipe doesn't matter.
I can't think of Grindr. Do you have to swipe up and down?
It's in and out.
Okay.
Anyway,
you want to try and get this train back on the rails?
Is it me? Are you shorter this week? Because you look shorter this week.
I'm still recording from Studio B, so if I sit up in my chair like I'm supposed to, yeah. Oh, look,
you get cut off.
My head's on fire.
You get cut off.
I do.
All right.
Yes.
What I am geeked about this week. So, had my birthday this past weekend.
Happy birthday!
Yes.
And I ended up getting a lot of presents I wasn't expecting. Okay. My wife, and I should have thought about this. I'm not going to pull it off the shelf right now because all my figures will fall down. But everyone here knows the movie Evil Dead 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is a movie prop replica of the Necronomicon Ex Mortis that actually has the pages with all the demonic writing and the pictures on it. She got that for me. We actually saw it in Salem over the summer, and
Wow.
this at the shop, and this guy was trying to sell it to me, and I like wanted to pull out the credit card, and I was looking at my wife, and I didn't even ask permission. I'm just like, no, man. But she remembered that, like she always does. She remembers every time I say I like something, and I was shocked. I would not have thought that she would have got that for me, but it's sitting up here on my shelf, right behind a figure of Bruce Campbell from Ash versus the Evil Dead. I also, one of my coworkers, Paul Vermeulen, from South Africa, him and I have been bonding over the fact that we both like Star Trek, and we'll chat for a little bit in the morning. Fucking sends me a gift. He didn't have to. I don't know why.
Oh.
He sent me. He went to my Elfster list, and there was just this little mini arcade thing. It's basically toilet gaming. It's old Nintendo games. It was
Nice.
like super cheap, nothing major. But he also got me a Enterprise license plate, which I am going to
Oh, wow.
stop my virtual background for a minute because I mounted it to my pinball machine. You can see it
Nice.
back there, NCC 1701. As a
Nice.
topper on my pinball machine.
That's awesome.
And it's
Yeah, I
great.
mean, it doesn't quite go all the way across, but I kind of wanted something to block the At Games logo there anyway, because it was bright and reflecting on the screen while I was playing. So I'm like, okay, this is perfect. Believe it or not, you know how I stuck that to that?
Duct tape.
With chopsticks and duct tape.
I was just
Think
kidding.
about that.
Nice.
Yeah. But that's not all. Somebody else got me an unexpected gift. My boss, Brandon, went and bought me a gift that arrived yesterday. I just don't know why suddenly everyone's buying me gifts. And it's funny because I put together an Elfster list. I have to put something together for Secret Santa. So it's always a bunch of dumb little shit that, yeah, it'd be all right to have.
What the
Nothing
hell is
major.
Elfster?
But I also put, stuff on there for tomorrow. So the big thing I wanted this year wasn't anything major. I wanted to learn how to lockpick. He bought me the lockpick set. So I have this transparent padlock. It's transparent, so
neat.
you can see everything.
That's
There
neat.
is a full set of lockpicks, and I played around with it. I have successfully unlocked this once. I haven't done it a second time, but I did it once. But the really cool thing, besides the fact that this is awesome, and once I, work on this skill, I'm going to be out front on our porch unlocking our front door to practice, and the cops are going to pull up, and I swear I live here.
Uh-huh.
But this kit also came with something that wasn't in the Amazon description. This little card. Looks like a credit card. It says
Yep.
James Bond on it for some reason. I don't know why. But if you open it up,
A smaller credit
there's a
card.
set of
No.
6 lock picks in here.
That's
It's
cool.
portable that you can throw in your wallet. And if you ever need to pick a lock, because I'm not going to carry this set around with me. I'm not an actual criminal. But
Right.
yeah, my wallet, if I ever need it for an emergency, I've got it. I've just such a cool touch, and this isn't even advertised on the Amazon listing. I don't know why you wouldn't put this on there, but yeah,
Because it's a super secret stealth thing.
yeah. But I am excited to spend a little time learning a new skill that'll probably never be of any use. But once I learn this, while we're playing D&D, I may attempt to unlock a door, and when our DM says, well, you don't have that skill, I'll be like,
Oh.
but I do.
See, Hugh, you just leveled up in our zombie apocalypse crew.
Yeah, I did.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Well, look at that. Now the rest of your co-hosts suck because none of us got you any gifts.
Ah, it's expected. Paul, you've got me gifts I wasn't expecting before,
Yeah.
so it's fine. I don't want people I like to buy me shit, except for my wife.
Just the people that you dislike, you want gifts from them?
No, not even that.
Oh.
I buy everything. It's so hard. She's like, what do you want for Christmas? I'm like, I don't fucking know. If I want something, I just buy it. I mean, I'm
Right.
finally at that point where if I want something, I just get it. So
Yep.
there's nothing I want.
Yep. Your wife went on the same way.
All right. I guess it's my turn since we're still a man down. What's got me geeked is I think I finally get to do something really cool for Kristen. Word broke the other day that Pink is coming to Syracuse in the fall, and she's like, she really, 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 really wants to go, and she's terrible at interneting. So I think I'm gonna be a hero and score the tickets for her and her friend and the kids to go see the concert.
Man,
You're
for
gonna-
a second there, I thought you were going to say you were leaving her.
Well, I mean, that would be
Because
nice.
you said something really nice for her.
You're gonna tell her, right? Because she
She
may
knows.
be already
No.
okay. Because I mean, it would be interesting if she bought tickets herself, and then you bought tickets,
2 sets of tickets for
and then you'd have to invite us, and I would have to tell you no.
yeah. I would say
Same
no.
here.
I did tell her, I was like, look, if you don't find a friend to go, because she has trouble with that, she doesn't have very reliable friends. I said
Kathy will go.
I will go. She looked at me and goes, I don't want you to go.
Kathy would go. Just tell her that.
She's got
I'm sure
her
Kelly would too.
real close friend from work is already going. She texted her and literally 30 seconds later, I immediately got back. Yep. Okay. So that's the plan. And this is going to be the girl's first real concert too. She's taking the kids with her. So I think I'm going to have to drop them off. That hint's already been made. But so that looks like and now it's opened the floodgates because she keeps texting me about, well, the other one that I'd really like to see if they come around is, so now she's got her concert bucket list. So
Tell her to get in touch with Kelly. Kelly's got a bucket list of concerts she wants to go to.
and you keep getting told you got to go. Yeah.
Right. And I keep pushing it off and pushing it off. So she finds somebody else to go with her.
It might work out for you.
Gets me off the hook. Although it could backfire, Paul, and it could end up both of us having to go.
And then, right.
And then you can kill me, and then
Yeah, I will. All right, let's keep it moving. Is anybody playing anything? Because it's time for the Players Club.
I am.
Go ahead, Kevin. Or Corbs.
Well, mine's quick. Mine's real quick. I had to get a hold of Paul because if you forget, I have his PS4. A while back, I begged and pleaded and somehow got his PS4 so that I could play some of the games that I haven't had a chance to play. One of which is Far Cry 4. I got back into it over the last week or so, weekend, whatever. My knee was all screwed up and I was laid up almost all Sunday. So I figured, well, what the hell? I'm gonna just sit here and play some video games. So I played Far Cry 4, had a really good time with it, and really enjoyed it. Really, what I realized with Far Cry 4 on the PS4, and I guess whatever platform it's on, it's a huge world. I'm only like halfway into this game, and I have to unlock the rest of it yet. And I have a lot of hours in this already. What I think is a lot of hours. So that's what I did. I besides Palia, which I think I told you guys about before, kind of playing with that a little bit. It's it's in beta. It's kind of fun to mess with. But that's it. I got back into Far Cry 4 and it's a lot of fun. I just wish I could figure out how to stop dying when I fall off cliffs.
Here's an idea.
Don't
fall off
the
cliffs.
cliff.
Don't you have a wingsuit in that game?
So there's a wingsuit and a parachute. But the problem is that you have to remember what the right key sequence is to get the wingsuit out.
Isn't
And then
it
you have to remember
click-
what the right sequence is to get the parachute out.
Isn't
And
it
if you
like
don't do
click
that,
the right stick? It's click right stick, isn't it?
it's the left. It's the left.
Left.
The left
Or,
stick.
left stick.
It's what is it? L3.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
it is. To get the wingsuit out, and then it's I forget what it is. Once the wingsuit's out, you got to hit something else to get the parachute out. But the problem is that you can't do either one of these until you get the prompt on the screen.
Oh,
So it's
Okay.
not like I can just jump off and then just open my wingsuit or hit my parachute. Whatever. It's still it's still a fun game. I'm having a good time with it. And I'm very appreciative to my buddy Paul, who let me borrow his PS4, and completely understanding that he's probably never going to get it back.
I'll get it back when I change the password and don't give you the new password. Then he'd be like, I don't need this anymore.
That would work.
Yeah.
That would work.
I'm still playing Baldur's Gate 3. I'm slowly advancing. I stopped playing for like a month because Larian Studios put out a patch that was breaking the game. So I was like, I'm not even going to touch it until the new patch comes through. And that because I've got a lot invested in this game at this point. I think now I'm up to 85 hours. And for me, that's huge. And I thought I dodged all the issues, except that when I fired it up the other night, I see I was in a different spot than where I remembered saving. Well, one of the bugs got me. It only saved the most recent save that you had put in, like organically, because not quick saves. All of my other save points all the way through this game have been erased. So thankfully,
How far back?
I lost maybe a half an hour.
Oh,
thankfully, because I neurotic about saves on this game. Like I'll save like 3 times in the same place before I make a decision on things, and I just did it last night when I was playing. Because I did it once before and I failed miserably on this. There's a spot where you have to go talk to this cleric, and it triggers a huge battle. And if you fuck up the battle, it completely sends the whole storyline in your progress sideways. So, and I knew that this time because last time it happened to me. So I scum saved and jumped back before I did it. So this time, like literally, I'm standing outside the girl's door, and I saved. And then I walked in to get ready to start talking to her, and I saved again. I was like, I'm making sure. Well, this time I don't know if I just had a better handle on how it had to go or what, but I annihilated the boss this time, like literally, like not even in one round, because it goes turn based when you go into battles, like real D&D and everything. And last time I was down to 1 hit before I would have beat him, and shit went sideways. This time I literally killed him in the first round, and I'm like, oh, well, that wasn't so hard. So now I've got the good ending for that part that I wanted, and it makes life way easier on where I'm at. I'm still trying to dodge around stuff in case anybody gets around to wanting to play it, and I don't want to ruin surprises. So, but I'm still absolutely loving this fucking game. I'm trying to find the proper dies for my armor so I can make my character in the game look like my character that I'm going to be playing when we start. So,
can I just say I only have like 20 some hours in the Far Cry, and I thought that was a lot.
I mean, normally for me, 20 hours would be a lot into a game, right, Hugh?
It's subjective, Kevin. If 20 hours is a lot for you, it's a lot for you.
Yeah.
It's still a lot.
Mm-hmm.
85 hours.
And I think it says I'm 50% through the game. I've been watching stuff and people are saying they're putting in 500 hours into this game.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, I've done that on games before.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure Elden Ring.
Skyrim,
Wow.
Elden Ring, Assassin's Creed, Odyssey, just
a lot of these where there's a lot of space to roam. Like you can literally burn hours just wandering around. I did it in Act 1 of this, like just wandering like through the mountains and stuff. So, yeah, I can see where you can really rack up hours. So, okay, and still no bear sex.
I wasn't gonna ask. I'm
that joke's done.
Yeah. Corbs, you shook your head yes when he asked about games. Are you playing something?
Yeah, I'm still playing Sniper Elite 5. So I've gotten through to like the fourth mission now. I just finished up the other one, the War Factory, the other night. So I'm on to the next one. I just got to like the point where the next mission starts. It's that like where you first come into the area. So I'm right there. I haven't even gotten into that one yet, but the War Factory one was pretty fun. You're not supposed to set off the alarm, so you're supposed to try to kill everybody silently, which is kind of what I like doing. That's why I like playing Assassin's Creed. So I was doing that, and then I ended up tripping the alarm right at the end, and there was a bunch of guys. So I just was like, all right, I'm running out of here. I just ran right through, just ran through everybody, and got out. But so I'll have to go back and get all like the special notes and all that other stuff that the little side things that you're supposed to get, like the letters home and the artifacts, and you're supposed to, there's stone eagles that you're supposed to shoot and stuff like that. So I go through and I'll watch YouTube, but after I get through it all, after I kill everybody and there's nobody else around, and I kind of just wander around,
Find all the shit.
yeah, and then I can find it all at that point. You go back and like you can just say, oh, where's the stone eagle for the 3 stone eagles in this area, and they literally will give you a YouTube video of the 3 areas and tell you this is where you should stand and shoot it. Be done. So, but I will have to go back to that last one and kill a few guys because I left them there.
Kill them all.
Right.
That's what I do. I mean, my son has joked to me with the other day. He's like, "Well, why do you kill everybody?" I said, "Well, that's what you're supposed to do."
Right.
He said, "Well, no, you're supposed to get the objectives and get out." Well, I said, "Well, to get the objectives, you have to kill people around that guy, and you have to do it so nobody can see you do it. So you have to wait for them to walk around and stuff like that. And then you just walk up behind them and stab them in the neck." No, he doesn't do that. He breaks their neck. He'll break their neck or he'll stab them. So
outstanding.
Yeah.
Stabbing a mofo is just pure rush.
How about you, Hugh?
Well, boys, buckle in. I have got something to talk about. This week, took the dive so you didn't. I did the dirty deed so you don't have to. I went and bought Walking Dead Destinies, the current front runner for worst game of the year. And I did it because despite all of the awful, horrendous reviews, it's sitting at number 20 on Xbox's Live's sales charts. It's actually selling really well, and nobody understands why. And I don't know if it's because of brand recognition, because if this was like the new Mario game, I could see parents cluelessly picking it up for their kids just because it says Mario. But it's the fucking Walking Dead. If you're buying it for your 6-year-old, there's something worse wrong than this game in your life, okay? People are actively deciding to ignore the reviews and pick this game up anyway. So I had to know. So I did. Let me tell you something. Everything that people have said about this game is 100% true. To begin with, the graphics are maybe PS2 era. They're pretty awful. The movement is clunky. The combat it seems like it's from like the very first Grand Theft Auto, with glitches so bad it's like aiming, like because you have a melee weapon unless you're using your fist. You got like a baseball bat, a crowbar, or whatever. You can also have a gun. You hit the right trigger to swing your melee weapon. To use your gun, you hit the left trigger, which pulls you up into aiming mode like most games, and then you use the right trigger to fire, okay? Well, this goes back to like PS1, where we didn't have like dual analog sticks. You hit the left trigger, and it pulls up the aiming mode, but you can't move it around with the right. You can, but it goes, it's useless. You have to actually move your character around to try to get your shot lined up. But even worse than that, yeah, it's awful. Even worse than that, sometimes you can actually break the game. You'll go to, let's say you're using your shotgun a lot, and all of a sudden you'll hit the aiming thing and it won't come up. And now you can't get it to come up at all. And you're stuck with melee strikes until you back away from the enemies. And I don't know, something resets and it finally starts working again. You can also break the sound in that same thing. Every time I encounter that bug, I then have to, when I get a chance, shut the game off and turn it back on, because the characters no longer talk. So that part of the voiceover soundtrack just disappears and doesn't work. It gets worse. The character models are absolutely horrendous. There are a few that look, that are okay. Daryl Dixon and Merle Dixon look pretty good. Lori actually is the very best model in the game and looks exactly like the actress.
Well, of course.
Well, no. Anyway,
sarcasm.
But the rest of them all have like really squinty eyes like this. Carol, Shane, all of them don't look anything. They're just like kind of like the character, but they're like this. Rick has these big wide eyes and a forehead like this big, and he looks like fucking Zach Braff or something. It's just insane how awful these character models are. Add into the fact that the cutscenes are not actual cutscenes. They are pictures with voices talking. Really, really bad voices. Most of them don't even sound like they tried to sound like the same person. Like, the Rick character does not sound anything like Andrew Lincoln. Shane doesn't. Again, Lori actually sounds like the actress. Their Norman Reedus sound alike and their Michael Rooker sound alikes are actually pretty good. The rest of them are awful. Let's move on to the whole conceit of the game where you get to make choices and change the path that we saw on the TV show. Yes, this is true, but some of it is boiled down to very simple things. For instance, my first choice of the game, I get to the rooftop. Now, mind you, at this point, I played through part of the beginning of the show, and it's actually pretty cool to be playing these iconic scenes. But I get there, and T-Dog and Merle are fighting, and the choice is, handcuff Merle or de-escalate the situation with Merle and try to get him to calm down. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe if I can calm him down, he might actually be useful later on. He is a good fighter. We don't want him to end up in the governor's hands. I'll just de-escalate. It's not like I said, T-Dog, you're wrong. You actually are an N-word or anything like that. I just calmed him down. Well, our characters stupidly leave the roof and leave those two alone, and Merle handcuffs T-Dog to the pipes and walks away. So basically, they swap places. I'm told from spoilers I've read, they swap places all the way to Woodbury. So I thought that was kind of cheap just to have characters swap places. But other choices seem to be more impactful. For instance, when Carl gets shot, this is so weird. Rick, Shane, and Carl are in the woods. They see a deer. There's a gunshot. Nobody knows where it came from. There is no Otis in this game. And somehow Rick and Shane are like, oh, Carl's shot. Let's just run and find a farmhouse. And they do. Otis is not there to show them the farmhouse. He doesn't exist in this game. So it's bizarre. They just show up with a shot kid at Herschel Green's farm. And he's like, okay, let me take care of him. Then when we get to the whole mission to go to the school to get supplies, there's no Otis for Shane to take. So he has to choose one of Herschel's daughters. So it's Beth or Maggie that have to go. And it's going to be either get the meds or, the girl dies to get the meds or whatever. That's going to be the thing. So I chose Beth because, okay, it's Beth. But when I got to that point, it's not like in the show where he had to, choose to shoot her or shoot him, Otis, to keep him down to get away. Beth tripped. It was either grab Beth or grab the bag of supplies. All right. I'm like, you know what? Fuck Carl. I'm going to play as Shane and kill Rick anyway. Lori's going to be so distraught. She's just going to jump on my Shane dick like it's cool. So I'm like, just eliminate her whole family. So I save Beth, right? Carl dies. The very next thing I do is when you get to the hub, at that point, it's at the farm. Every time they move, there's a new hub. Walk up to Lori to see how she's doing after her son just died. And she's like, I like to make pancakes so my family feels like, maybe the apocalypse isn't so bad or something along those lines. It's so stupid. Then finally, when Rick and Shane fight, they start talking, Shane's like, I'm a better father than you. I'm a better, no, you're not. Everybody's dead but Lori. What the fuck? It's like there's no continuity in the story. And then the boss fight against Rick, it takes 30 shotgun blasts to the face just to get him to drop his gun, and now we're fighting melee, and another 30 slashes to the face with the machete to win. Now, I'm sorry, but that really pulled me out of it. It wasn't like Armored Rick or badass Super Mutant Rick. It was regular old Rick Grimes who, got shot once and went into a coma and the world ends, but now he can take 30 shotgun blasts directly to the head. I don't know. Anyway, I've now moved on to that, and I'm about to start the prison, and I want to say, man, I'm having a good time with this game. Despite all of the problems that this game has, it actually is fun because I'm getting to play through a TV show I love. And I know that we shouldn't be lauding these developers for releasing such a half-baked piece of trash, but it's a fun half-baked piece of trash. And honestly, can I say that I'm not getting my money's worth? I can't. I can't say that I'm not getting my money's worth. It's bizarre. I understand why it's on the sales chart now. The IP is actually strong enough to carry a less than mediocre game, and it doesn't usually work like that. Go ahead.
So what
Paul.
I'm hearing is that the game was developed the same way the show was, half-assed and by a bunch of morons.
Well,
No, much worse. Much worse.
For one, it's made by Game Mill, which they're known for shitty ass games.
Yeah.
They made the G.I. Joe game that I got and played for 5 minutes, and just pretty much the same look that's on my face now was what I had with G.I. Joe when I played. And let me explain why I have this look on my face. My mom asked what she could get me for Christmas. That's Walking Dead Destinies.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's one of the gifts she's getting me. Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, Paul, this is a positive thing then, because I'm actually giving the game a positive review.
I
That
hope
really didn't sound all that positive, Hugh.
he turned it around.
Yes, I'm being honest, unlike most of our gaming media.
Listen. 10,000 sucks followed by an okay does not make it okay. It still sucks.
But you've got to take the entire picture into consideration, Kevin. It's a game. It's not one singular part. It's not just a wheel on a car. It's the whole car we're talking about. And the whole car is a rough ride, but it still gets me where I want to go.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm hoping I get to enjoy it.
Paul, you got to remember, you're a gamer, but except for Baldur's Gate, I mean, do you rarely put like 10 hours into a game? And how many do you have that aren't finished? Okay. Yes, you're going to recognize the technical shortcomings with this game, but you're not going to pick it apart like a game reviewer who does it for, a living does.
Right.
I really think you're going to actually enjoy the game, because I am. I mean, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I want to do at least one more playthrough, and maybe I'll want to do more because I want to see how the story changes. They struck upon a really, really cool idea, and it would be so awesome if a better company took that idea and had done it. But this is what we have. This is the hero we have. Maybe not the one we deserve, but it's the one we have, and it's okay.
All right. I mean, I didn't have high hopes when I saw it was by Game Mill, but I somehow I must have missed all of the reviews saying this thing is awful.
They've ripped it apart, but a part of me does feel like, as while I was reading those reviews and now that I've played the game, I'm like, I feel like some of these people have forgot that games are supposed to be fun, and there are points in time where I'm Rick motherfucking Grimes and I'm stabbing zombies in the head and blowing them away with a shotgun, and I'm having exactly the experience I wanted out of a Walking Dead game. Now I know there's going to be a shitty cutscene that comes after it, but it doesn't change the fact that right now I'm enjoying myself.
Good.
Walking Dead fans are rabid.
True. And they'll take anything. And this is the first like console game. Well, there was the what do you call it ones too.
There's Survival Instinct and there's Overkill's The Walking Dead.
What I meant by that was they will tear shit apart.
Well, there's that too. Yes.
If it's not in the grain of Walking Dead.
I don't think that applies to the reviews that I'm talking about, though, because this is from game industry professionals who are judging it on gaming criteria. I didn't see a single review where anyone was where it seemed like a Walking Dead fanboy mad about the actual content. Some people did call out that it's weird that there are characters missing, like Otis being missing. But yeah, it was all on none of it. Any review you read, I mean, everything they say is true. I just feel like they forgot the fun part of it.
Got it.
Well, I definitely can't have that one be the game I played directly after Baldur's Gate. So,
dude, don't really trust me, because I know you're a fan of the show like I am. You're actually going to have a blast with it.
Good.
Just be prepared. Nothing game breaking, but you're going to run into some weird niggles, and you're like, all of a sudden you're stuck in a hospital with soldiers in fucking body armor with AK-47s, and you've got to punch them to death because you can't fire your gun. But here's the thing, I didn't die. The game isn't hard either. So
gotcha. So I have a chance.
What the fuck? Yeah. I mean, I've died once, and I'm not even sure what happened. It might have been a bug. Who knows? I just dropped over dead at one point, and I'm like, oh, I'm dead. And it hasn't happened since.
All right. So that's it. Everyone went, right? All
Pepper
right.
Jack.
Yeah, well, Jack doesn't count. He's busy shuffling.
Oh, where's Jack?
He's jacking, I think. Jack's
Oh,
jacking.
Wow.
So let's keep it moving. We're gonna go right into Kev's tabletop review. Take it away.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, have I got something for you this week. All right. This is not necessarily new, but it's very interesting. Had an opportunity to play the Splendor Marvel Edition. Now, I know I reviewed it. I know I've talked about it in the past. Had a great time with it. The wife and I, we had a friend over, my Uncle Rob, and we just had a great time with it. The difference between Splendor and Splendor Duel is significant. It's enough to make it very worthwhile to own both games and give you a little bit of a review on what the differences are. So Splendor is a game about collecting cards to build an engine to get points to win the game. The way they change that with Marvel, the Marvel edition, is that you're hiring heroes. You're hiring your favorite heroes, sometimes your favorite, sometimes it's Spider-Ham, which isn't necessarily not your hero, your favorite. And you build your engine that way. The difference being after that is that you have to assemble the Infinity Gauntlet so that you can snap your way to the game end. We also know about Splendor Duel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Splendor Duel, the game for two people, and a very, very, very fun game. Very challenging in that it adds more rules, it adds more intricacy to winning the game, thereby changing the game again. And what did I discover just a couple days ago? There's yet another way to change Splendor. Splendor, the default game, the basic game, the normal game, has an expansion. So this expansion set is one box, 4 different expansion sets, designed so that you play just one expansion with the game per game. So if I'm playing Splendor and I want to add a little bit more to it, I add one of the expansions. Now, let me just read you a little bit about what BoardGameGeek.com says about the expansion. Cities of Splendor, and that's the name on the box, is a quartet of expansions for use with the Splendor board game. The Splendor base game, I should say. Each expansion is added to the basic game, and they should be played separately. So there's the cities, there's the trading posts, the orients, and the strongholds. Each of these changes one part of the game of Splendor and adds just a little bit more difficulty to the game. All of us on this podcast, I think, have played Splendor or some version of Splendor. Maybe Hugh hasn't. Hugh, have you played? You have not. Okay.
No.
So if you ever get the chance, if you're with us again on another opportunity to play Splendor, I hope that you take the opportunity to play with us, because it is a really, really fun game. Regardless of which one it is, whether it's Splendor, Splendor Marvel, Splendor Duel, obviously 2-player. If you and your wife got Splendor Duel, I guarantee you'd have a good time with it. This game, Splendor, to have an expansion, I just think is a fantastic thing, because it adds one more way that you can play the game you love, and add a little bit more to it. So Splendor, as we know, is 2 to 4 players. It's basically 30-minute playtime for a game, ages 10 and up. what Splendor, Cities of Splendor adds is it takes it up to a 2.17 on the difficulty scale, between 0 and 5, which is the difficulty scale that BoardGameGeek.com uses. So this adds a little bit of difficulty to it, but it does not make it as difficult as Splendor Duel. Splendor Duel, remember, is a little bit higher than that. Let me just refresh our memories of that. Splendor Duel. Oh, I can't spell Splendor because I've had a lot to drink. Oh, and I just hit my button on my mouse, and now I don't know where I am. All right, here we go. Splendor Duel is, it's not as difficult. 1.97 out of 5. I stand corrected. So the expansion is actually more difficult than Splendor Duel, which is fantastic. That's exactly what this game needs. Step it up a little bit, make it a little bit more difficult, add to the fun factor. This is a must-have. If you have Splendor, the normal game, the base game, you have to have Splendor, Cities of Splendor, the expansion. I'm sorry I did not know about this before. It actually came out in 2017. Prices vary. I found it at Play the Game, Read the Story in Syracuse, the game shop that is closest to me. They have it for about $40. On Amazon, I found it for $32, $31.99. There are a few other places you can get it. Let me see what Board Game Geek has it. $31.99, $34.99, eBay 20 listings, $16.99. So you can find some used ones. Be careful about the used ones. They may not always have all the parts in them, even though the seller says they do. So just be careful about that. Always best to support your local game shop. Go there, spend the extra money, keep them in business. Trust me when I say they're your best resource for your next fun tabletop experience. Splendor, the expansion, Cities of Splendor. Check it out. It's a ton of fun.
Awesome. All right. Well, it sounds like it's a good time to throw it to break. We'll be back with the news. Stick with us, guys. Looking for the hottest new comic on the shelf or a key back issue to complete your run? How about that rare statue or action figure that you've scoured the internet looking for? Come to Collectibles Galore. Located in North Syracuse with ample off-street parking, Collectibles Galore has a huge selection of comics, toys, and rare pop culture items you won't find anywhere else. Comics Galore is always buying comics and toys and will give you the fairest price for your collection. New customers get 15% off their first purchase in store. Collectibles Galore for all of your pop culture needs. Stop in and see for yourself why Collectibles Galore is the king of comics.
Hi, this is Craig Palmer. If you ever aspire to be a wrestler, come on down to Upstate Wrestling Entertainment, located at 1121 Glenwood Avenue in Nottingham, New York. We're open every Tuesday and Thursday from 6:30 p.m. until 9 p.m. Come on down and join us. See you then.
Now, before you rush to Cameo to get a personalized video from the now former House of Representative George Santos, here's the news. First up, 666 Jump Street. Legendary filmmaker and former Monty Python Terry Gilliam has publicly announced he wants Johnny Depp to play Satan in his next film. Carnival at the End of Days focuses on a Lucifer who's trying to save the human race after God decides to wipe them out after fucking things up so badly. His main drive being that without humanity, he's out of a job, which would suck since he's an eternal being. I don't know. Eternal retirement sounds okay to me. Anyway, as intrigued as I am by the movie, I am not sure that there's the kind of press that Depp really needs right now. While he may have won in court, his career does not seem to have bounced back, and playing the devil might not be the comeback he wants. He's already been playing the devil in tabloids for years, and this seems like a lateral move to me. Although his Jack Sparrow playing Willy Wonka playing Lucifer Morningstar could either be amazing or exactly like every other manic character they've cast him in over the years. This sounds like it could be really awesome, or it could really shit the bed. Next up, Chris Wallace really hated The Force Awakens. I mean, I can't think of any other reason he would mercilessly mock giant human Adam Driver in their recent interview. Wallace kept coming back to how strange Adam looks and how he's not a traditional movie star in the looks department. Multiple times throughout the interview, Wallace kept going back to how he looked and how it's affected his career, even asking him if he thought his career would be different if he looked like Robert Redford. Let's be clear, this is a dumb fucking question. Chris Wallace's career would be different if he looked like Robert Redford. My life would be different if I looked like Robert Redford. Driver even admitted that one outlet called him Horseface, which is now the only thing I will ever think of when I see Kylo Ren. Do you think since he's bigger, he hurts more? And finally, the hero we deserve. The Marvels has been a complete dud for Disney. Their CEO has had a ton to say about that in recent weeks, from saying there should have been more management on set to saying they need to focus on fewer good projects and then tons of mediocre ones. Bob Iger has stated plainly he is now turning his attention toward turning Marvel around. So to be clear, for the past year-ish, they've been dumping millions into Marvel, and he was like, I'll get around to fixing that shit later. It was not a priority until now, it seems. But I have to ask, is that really the problem? I think the bigger issue here is the lack of recognizable IPs. The MCU's been stuck with tier 2 and 3 properties for a few years now. They took their biggest shot with Infinity War and haven't really had anything close to that compelling since, partly due to the pandemic and partly due to needing to build new top-tier heroes. I would argue that a few more projects that materially built on a larger story to get us excited might actually have helped. The Marvels didn't bomb because it was too woke, because no one knew how woke it would be until they saw it. It didn't bomb because it was an all-female-led cast, because there are no guys out there refusing to watch a movie because it has hot women in it. It bombed because what the fuck was the Marvels anyway? I am in this shit, and I have no idea what the plot is or why I want or need to see it. The marketing was non-existent, the trailers were confusing, and I don't know that Bob Iger could have fixed either one of those things. Sometimes shit just doesn't work. I don't know from day to day if my ankles are going to work right when I get out of bed. I don't need a Disney executive standing over my bed to help me improve that. The pandemic delay left everything in a weird state. Marvel isn't dying. Superhero fatigue is an excuse. I still haven't been back to a theater and have no plans to at the moment. It will take time, more time than shareholders want, but deal with it. By the time you have top-tier stuff like X-Men and Fantastic Four coming out, things will be back to what you perceive as normal. And that's the news, kids. Now, I want to address something from last show, and I'm really disappointed that Jack is not here because this was all for him. So we're going to make sure that he sees this before our next show. But this is not a joke or a bit, but some helpful advice to our friend Jack. Last week on camera, Jack took off his hat, rubbed his head, and said, "I'm going bald." For the record, you brought that into the conversation, Jack. It is fair game now. It isn't like we hadn't noticed and last week was a revelation. We just care about you and didn't want to hurt your feelings. Well, everyone but Kevin didn't want to hurt your feelings. But you brought it up, so game on. But really, I do have some honest-to-goodness advice. The only people that can pull off the receding hairline horseshoe look are Norman Osborn and Clarence Boddicker, and they are both fictional characters. If your hair loss really bothers you, there's one simple trick you can use to level up immediately. Get out the razor. You need to shave your head, maybe the beard, but keep the goatee and let it grow out a bit more. You remember Breaking Bad? Walter White started off as Malcolm in the Middle's dad's having a midlife crisis, but no one fucked with him once he broke bald. Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Bruce Willis, even John Cryer looks badass now. Did you ever think John, the not cool guy on 2.5 Men Cryer, would ever look like he would rip your throat out with his teeth? Well, he does now. No one fucks with the crying man these days. Even Adam Driver would go from horse face to horse cock with that kind of a makeover. Actually, that probably isn't a problem for him because he's like 12 feet tall. But anyway, the point is, embrace it and find that badass new you. No one will mess with Jack the Ripper, Blackjack Corbett. Can we even say that now? I don't know. Whatever new menacing moniker you find for yourself, just know that losing your hair doesn't have to be a bad thing. It just means it's time for a heel turn. Paul?
In other news, kind of fits. Charlie Brown's father is a barber. Back to you, Corbs.
You think you could fix a little curly thing at the top of his head?
That can't be true.
It's
True.
from my book of useless information. And I had no prior knowledge what Hugh was doing there, so that wasn't planned.
That's funny.
That's actually pretty good. I'll give you that one.
That's called synergy right there.
Unexpected surprise synergy.
Yeah, it's not like you guys have been together for a while or anything.
Well, I mean, we don't read each other's minds, do we, Paul?
The fuck was that?
You're right, he does
You
look
don't
like
want to
that.
know.
There's like fucking scanners and shit.
Corbs,
don't wanna know.
sports.
Sports. Yay, sports. So so SU introduced their new head coach this week. I guess he's not coaching the bowl game, which is weird for the guy to take over the job, but not to coach the first game that he's supposed to. They're gonna let the guy who finished the year out coach it, Nunzio. Not the wrestler. He's the tight end coach there, and I guess the new head coach is going to keep him on the staff, which is cool. I guess that's pretty cool.
I would.
So that's pretty cool. SU basketball played. They're up and down a little bit this year so far. They just beat Cornell, which 2 out of the last 3 years they didn't beat them. So for them to win was pretty cool. They lost to Virginia on Saturday. They got crushed by Virginia. What else is going on? Baseball winter meetings. That's been going on all week long. The big talk there is you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, so it's even more fun. Shohei Ohtani, the big
English Corbs.
Yeah, exactly.
I barely understand what you're saying as it is.
Shohei Ohtani is the Japanese superstar he's been here. He's been with the California Angels, Los Angeles Angels, whatever you call them these days. He's a free agent this year. So a couple teams are trying to get him. Obviously, the Yankees, they try to sign everybody. Yankees, Dodgers, Cubs, they're all in the mix for Shohei. There's a couple guys coming over from Japan. If you have to pronounce their names, it would sound like gibberish. One of them.
That's rude.
Well, one of the guys' names is Yashimoto.
That is incredibly racially insensitive to say it.
Well, that's who I am. So I don't care.
You're not a very good person.
No, I'm not. I've never claimed to be. So there's a bidding war for these guys that are coming over from Japan for their services. These guys are, obviously the Yankees, the Dodgers are all, the Giants are trying to get one of these two guys. One of them was the MVP of the KPO, which is the Korean Professional Baseball Association. And the other one is the
WO.
No.
I
NPO.
know what that is.
NPO. God, I can't remember. that's the Japanese baseball league. They're both, one of them's in MVP, and one of them is a fielder, one of them is a pitcher. So they're trying to figure out. Obviously, everybody's trying to find the next Ichiro.
Can they call it JBL, or is that already taken?
That's already taken.
No.
You get clothesline for you'll get clothesline from hell for that. So the winter meetings have been going on this week. I watched a little bit of MLB Network just for a little bit, just to kind of keep up to date. Something that's a little closer to my heart is first guy. That too, but Jim Leland, the manager from the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Colorado Rockies, the Detroit Tigers, and there was one other team, I can't remember who it is now. But he was the guy that coached the Pittsburgh Pirates in the 90s. It was my dad's favorite team. He coached Barry Bonds when he was, skinny, before he bulked up on the steroids. He got elected into the Hall of Fame, which is pretty cool for him. I mean, he's a very good manager. Won Manager of the Year three times, once in each league. So he won it twice with the Pirates and once with the Tigers. When the Tigers won the World Series in 2006, he was the manager then. The Marlins were the other team that he coached. Sorry, just popped into my head there. So he got elected. He was the first guy to be elected into the Hall of Fame this year. The rest of the announcements will be sometime in mid-January when they announce like the players and all that stuff. So that was pretty cool to see that. Like I said, I watched baseball when I was younger. Pirates were a big team at that time, so to have a guy that you watched manage finally get inducted into the Hall of Fame, which was pretty cool. What else? Golf is back. Hero Challenge was last weekend. Tiger Woods' tournament. He did play in it, and as expected, he was on the TV more than anybody else, and he finished second to last. So I was at Cornhole Thursday night, was the first day of the tournament, and a couple of guys there were talking about it, and they were like, "Oh, well, how often do you figure Tiger's going to be on TV?" I'm like, "Well, it's his first tournament back since the Masters of last year. He'll be on the TV screen the entire time. It doesn't matter where he is in the tournament. It doesn't matter how he's doing. He could hit 3 balls in the water, and that's what they're going to talk about. It's just the Tiger Woods effect. He's on the screen.
Well, everybody loves a train wreck,
right? And the problem is in the late 90s, so 96 when he became a professional golfer. So from then until he cheated on his wife and got hit with a golf club and crashed his car the first time, then his life became a train wreck and he wasn't as good. He had showed some shots of his old self a couple of times. He won the Masters a couple of years ago, right after he got back and after he was hurt and came back. So he's won a couple of tournaments. He's won a few things since he's been hurt, but he's more of a train wreck now. So you're right. It's the Tiger Woods effect. They're thinking that at any point he could, hit an ace on a par 5, which is physically impossible, but they're waiting for that to happen. And he's 46 years old. He's old. He's not that good anymore. He's just too old. So, but he played, like I said, first tournament back since he had surgery in April. So he looked good, but he did finish second to last. This weekend is a combined tournament. It's the men and the women combined. So you're matched up with a male and a female are matched up together, and they play that way. I think they play best ball. I haven't really paid too much attention to this. Get your mind out of the gutter, Paul.
How many of those teams you think end up having sex before the end of the tournament?
Not a lot of them, because a lot of them are married,
Oh.
not to each other.
Well, that's
Well,
never stopped famous people before.
That's true. I was about to say the same thing. I mean, they're married. They're probably not having sex with their wives. So, sorry. So yeah, so this weekend, like I said, it's a combined tournament, men and women, paired together. So be pretty fun. Some of the pairing I know is Ricky Fowler, who I like to watch golf on the men's side. Obviously, you guys know I like Ricky Fowler, and then on the women's side, he's matched with Lexi Thompson, who's the girl that I like to watch golf on the women's side. So so they're actually paired together, which is pretty cool. So I might check out that tournament this weekend for a little bit just to see how things are going there, just to kind of get an idea of what the tournament's like. I mean, that's really all I got. Football, who cares?
No.
No,
We do not talk the NFL here.
I wasn't talking about the NFL. I was talking about the LFL.
Laura, Football League? What?
Monterey.
Oh, that I'll watch.
Why?
And
Why don't we
yes, there is
talk-
actually a football league called the LFL.
That doesn't surprise me.
Why don't we talk about the NFL anymore since we did last week? Not that
We did a little bit last week.
It's a running joke. It's Corbs fucking with Laura because she bitched to him about how he never talks about the NFL. So
And just talk about golf.
He's been avoiding it.
Yeah.
Can
So-
we do that with the rest of sports?
Oh, somebody likes sports. All right. Sorry, I stopped
That's
on
fine.
that.
I mean, the only other thing we could talk about is wrestling.
Wrestling.
So I mean, I guess Orton signed with SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean so I watched Monday night for a little bit, caught the tail end. I guess Punk's supposed to be at SmackDown this week,
Yeah.
and they're supposed to make their offer to him. Do you think he stays on Raw? Do you think they both go to SmackDown?
I think Punk stays a free agent, and here's why. Big TV negotiations. They already signed the SmackDown deal, right? But they're still working on the Raw, or is it the other way around?
No, you got it right. I think SmackDown's
Okay.
already been. It's going to
Okay.
USA.
I think that having Punk sign to SmackDown will drop what they're going to get for Raw, because whoever buys Raw, the rights to Raw, is going to want to have that kind of star power there.
Mhm.
The problem is, I don't think that they necessarily can limit him to just that show, because they've got to tell story. They've got to make the most they can off him as quickly as possible before he blows everything up.
Yes.
So I think it makes more sense to keep him as a free agent. And if anybody is going to be a free agent, there are very few wrestlers who you can believably think that they would say, hey, I'm not going to sign to either. I'm going to do what I want. He's one of the few wrestlers you believe he could do that. At least the fans believe that because of who he is, his past, his history, and how he's come back. So I would be surprised if they limit him to a show, but if they do, it's got to be Raw.
I would think so too, especially with it's looking more and more like they're going to turn this into a Seth Punk thing. I think we're getting that just because everybody knows the heat that's already there. And I mean, money talks, and you got to play ball. As much as Seth may really not like him, again, you want to stay in the main event, you're going to work with the guy.
But that means either he beats Punk or they put the belt on Punk. And I can't see either of those situations happen because, I mean, Rollins needs to take time off. So
Yes.
somebody needs to beat him, but they need to put the belt on somebody that they can rely on. I mean, yeah, Rollins has made that belt mean something, but it's still less than a year old.
Correct.
You can't give it to somebody who just might be like, fuck you guys, I'm going to Impact. I mean, it's just, I don't see them putting gold on him for a while. I think he'll have
And
some
they shouldn't.
high-profile matches. Yeah, he should.
They absolutely should not put a title. They should not reward him for bad behavior. And this is coming from a guy who's a huge mark for Punk. I love Punk. Love him. And I mean, no, he needs to earn his way back to that. Yes, he's going to be a main eventer.
Yeah.
Money
you know
talks.
what?
But
Again, this goes back to how he's in a certain echelon of stars. He doesn't need a belt
true.
to tell a story and be in the main event. It's not necessary.
Absolutely. Whereas I think you need Orton in that chase on SmackDown with the bloodline.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I agree with that. I can see him beating the bloodline and setting up a match with Roman.
And you know what makes a lot of sense? And this wasn't possible until this past week. If Randy Orton's the one to dethrone Roman Reigns, and then Cody ends up finishing his story against his mentor and friend,
That could be awesome.
yeah, that
That makes for a lot of drama. Yep.
it stretches it out probably until WrestleMania 41, but that would be a really good story because it really seems like he's got his fucking hands full right now. I don't even think his compass has a hand to point at Roman Reigns at the moment.
Right.
There's just no time.
But do you think they put the belt on Orton one more time? Because wouldn't that push him past
the
magic number?
Absolutely, because I mean,
As a fuck you to Rick?
well, no, I think it's, he said 10. You saw him. He did the whole thing. He thinks he has 10 more years. Randy Orton's not going to spend 10 years in the WWE without getting
Without
that
a title
belt.
run.
A couple times, probably.
Yeah.
But at least once. It would be stupid to do that, especially since he's one of the guys that isn't leaving to go to Hollywood. He's staying there. He's gonna.
He tried that once, didn't he?
Not really. I mean, they all had little things like on UPN and guest starring on like Star Trek Voyager and bullshit. But
Randy
He was in one of the Marines movies, right?
No,
Yeah.
12 rounds.
Okay.
He was in 12 rounds too.
but it wasn't anything serious.
No.
Not a star-making role. Yeah.
Well, they threw that at the Miz and shit like that. They threw when WWE was making their own films. I don't see that as the same thing as The Rock going off and being a movie star.
Gotcha.
You know.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely think he'll have a title run, without a doubt.
But I'm right? He's another one that like he's at that line, like the 16.
I'll tell you.
There's Flair, Triple H,
Cena.
And
I thought Orton.
he's got to be close. Maybe he's 14, not 16.
Maybe. And then that would give him the wiggle room to do it. Just because it seems like that's the ceiling right now. Like probably until Flair kicks it.
I don't necessarily think that they'd be looking to have him break any records. It's just if he really has 10 years left, he's not gonna.
How can you not?
Yeah. And 10 good years. It's not like 10, Matt Hardy years right now. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Orton actually looks like he's in the best shape of his life right now.
All right. My big problem with him, why does he always look like he's got no teeth?
I don't know.
He always.
I mean, his dad's first name was Cowboy, so I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. Not good hygiene there.
I mean, he has teeth. It's just something about his face. He looks like there's no upper teeth there. Like Randy Fulton Orton over there. But what do you got, Corbs? We're vamping here.
So he is 10-time WWE,
Oh, really?
10-time WWE champion, 4-time heavyweight champion.
Oh, that counts.
What else? 1 Intercontinental, 1 United States.
So he's a 14-time champion.
Yeah,
Okay.
14
So
times.
he does have wiggle room.
He's got a little wiggle room.
He has some wiggle room, so he could take it off Roman, and then him and Cody could trade it back and forth.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. I think we just booked it. You guys don't have to watch it for the next year and a half. We just finished the story for you.
But I could see where he, not this year, where Randy beats Roman this year, but he beats him at WrestleMania next year, and Cody wins Money in the Bank. You know what I mean? And then he has the chance to cash it in following WrestleMania to beat him. So you could actually set it up for the next 2 years, 2 or 3 years.
I think you can get there organically without using the Money in the Bank. I don't think they'll put Money in the Bank on Cody. Money in the Bank has always been
An up and coming, usually. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's always a cheesy way to win, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody ever uses it on a fresh opponent. I just don't see them.
True.
If they gave it to Cody, I can't imagine he would.
That's not the honorable good guy thing. Yeah.
He's not going to use it the way they expect him to use it. And as far as AEW, I don't know. I don't care.
I'm not even quite sure what's going on, other than the fact that Danhausen came back. And
apparently there's horrible negativity in the locker room. Everybody's angry. Britt Baker's like, I haven't had TV time for a promo all year. It seems like that whole thing's imploding.
Yeah, they better hope Danielson starts taking the reins on that. Because when the only time this year they got any positive response to booking is when Danielson was hurt and he was in the back helping book.
Yeah.
They need to do something because there's so much potential there with that roster, with the up and coming guys. Like, and it only makes WWE better by having a real competitor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I mean, at this point with Punk being in WWE, if we get Danhausen and Orange Cassidy to come over, I don't know if I'd ever have to watch on a Wednesday night again.
Mm.
So,
And I used to be excited about so much wrestling to watch every week, but now it's just become exhausting.
a chore. It's a chore. Yes. Playing catch up. Because, I mean, obviously we record on Wednesday nights. We never see Dynamite. So it's always a, you go back and either watch after the fact or you catch the highlights. And I mean, it's getting to the point where I stopped recording the Saturday night show.
And
Collision.
And with as much potential as they have, you have, people say, oh, WWE is just sports entertainment, but you've got main event Jey Uso putting on the best match of his life this past Monday on a free TV show on regular television. I mean,
that was phenomenal. And we're still slowly seeing the full heel turn with Drew McIntyre.
Hey, they're doing some good stuff there.
Yeah, his new catchphrase they shoved down our throat all episode long this week. The truth will set you free.
Yeah.
Wasn't Daddy back?
No, that's Randy Orton.
You know
That
what
shirt's
I think
coming.
would,
I'm
you know
telling
what
you.
I think will set Kev free? Moving on to the next segment.
Is he asleep? There we go.
I thought he was asleep too.
All right, and that next segment is our next commercial break after I give you guys our weekly topic. As soon as I move this over and can see what I wrote.
What is it?
Okay.
What is it? What is it?
What's the one thing everyone else seems to love, but you think is overrated?
Oh, I got one.
You can't say me, Kevin,
I mean, he can say whatever he wants.
but I can edit it out.
Yeah, but nobody loves you.
You're
Shit.
Stop reading the notes. All right, let's kick it to break. We'll be right back. Stick with us, guys. Looking for the hottest new comic on the shelf or a key back issue to complete your run? How about that rare statue or action figure that you've scoured the internet looking for? Come to Collectibles Galore, located in North Syracuse with ample off-street parking. Collectibles Galore has a huge selection of comics, toys, and rare pop culture items you won't find anywhere else. Comics Galore is always buying comics and toys and will give you the fairest price for your collection. New customers get 15% off their first purchase in store. Collectibles Galore for all of your pop culture needs. Stop in and see for yourself why Collectibles Galore is the king of comics.
Hi, this is Craig Palmer. If you ever aspire to be a wrestler, come on down to Upstate Wrestling Entertainment, located at 1121 Glenwood Avenue in Nottingham, New York. We're open every Tuesday and Thursday from 6:30 p.m. until 9 p.m. Come on down and join us. See you then.
And that music means it's time for our weekly topic. I'll reiterate. It's not like I just said it or anything. What's the one thing everyone else seems to love, but you think is overrated? Hugh, you want to go first?
Yes, I do. because this is the season for it. And everywhere I go, no matter what I do, there's one thing I constantly see. In fact, this past Sunday, we were at the tree lighting in Manlius, and the parade came to an end. The fire truck came down with Santa on the passenger side waving at everyone. A chorus of teenagers and adults and others going, Santa, I know him. What I think is overrated is Elf. Now, for the record, I have never seen this movie from start to finish. I have seen clips online because everybody has. I have not watched this movie because I fucking hate Will Ferrell. I cannot stand him. He is definitely overrated. But everybody seems to love Elf. My wife doesn't understand why I won't watch the movie. And I'm just like, because if you look up stupidity in the dictionary, there's a picture of Will Ferrell playing every part he's ever played. I've never seen him, even in like Saturday Night Live, nothing he's ever been in. I've been like, that guy's funny. Now, he's been in some movies that I like. He was in a Kevin Smith movie, and I respect the performance they did, but they hired him to be Will Ferrell. They wanted that. That was the fucking point. We talk about actors who only ever play themselves. Even when he's playing a fucking elf from the North Pole, he's still Will Ferrell. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand why it's such a big deal. And today kicked off a huge AI conference in New York City. And the company I work for, Rev, is one of the gold sponsors, like the second to top tier sponsors. It's a big deal. I guess our owner is being interviewed on Fox News or something. It's a huge deal, and we're a big part of it. And somebody was dressed as Buddy the Elf, and we found out who it was, and we co-opted him for all of our social media stuff. And I'm like, that's awesome that's going to help Rev get more views and likes and stuff. But fuck, why did it have to be Buddy the Elf? I don't know.
I want to say one thing. I'm not a fan of Elf. I do not think it's the quintessential holiday movie. There is one reason to watch it, however. Zooey Deschanel.
Mm.
I don't even think that's enough to make me put up with Will Ferrell.
There is a time in the movie when she becomes important. To me, when I watch the movie, that makes it worth it.
He does look good in that one too.
Well, I mean,
Zoe.
I don't think she's been in a movie where she doesn't look good. I mean, I just think that makes the movie for me. If I have to watch it, that's what I look forward to.
I one time I enjoyed it, and after that, it's like Hugh says, it's like, I don't need it. And this is coming from the guy that will literally put on A Christmas Story like 100 times during the Christmas season.
Yeah, I avoid that one too.
I love that movie.
I just don't like Christmas movies. What the fuck is wrong with me? I love Christmas movies, but I love Christmas, but all the Christmas movies are stupid to me.
What about White Christmas?
I don't even think I've seen that.
Do me a favor. Do me a favor. Just watch it this year. Just watch it once.
How about no? I'm not gonna not gonna happen.
As soon as we all get through Supernatural, he'll watch it.
Yeah. You know, the Christmas movie I like the Patrick Stewart adaptation of A Christmas Carol. I like that one.
It's something. It's a start. Who wants to go next? Okay, Corbs, you go ahead.
I got nothing, so.
There's nothing that everybody loves that you think is overrated? Geek Pod? Nothing.
Go ahead, Kev.
I forgot what it was.
Well, we know it's not alcohol.
I swear to God, I had something.
I guess I got something now.
Let him go.
It'll tie back into sports, which you guys all love.
Spurts.
Hooray!
The Yankees.
I'm with you on that one.
Even I understand that reference.
You know, everybody is, deep-throating the Yankees because they won 26, 27, whatever the fuck number of championships they've won.
That escalated quickly.
Every Yankee fan that you ever have known or spoken to, the moment they start talking, they're like, well, we won 26 championships. Yeah, that's great, but 23 of them were before 1950. You know, I mean, well, not 23 of them, but
Close enough. We'll go with that.
18 of them or whatever was before 1950 or 1960. So from the last 60 years, you've won like 6 championships. So it's one every 10 years. Isn't it supposed to be where every team is supposed to have a chance? If you're out there just buying up talent and you still can't fucking win, then what
call
good
those
is
the Red Sox? Yes.
I don't know. One win every 10 years seems like a good average for me, but
that's the thing. Like it's like the Cowboys. It's like the Jets. Every year they're like, oh, this is going to be the year we win the whole thing. The Cowboys, we're going to win. We're going to go to Super Bowl this year. This is our time. We're going to Super Bowl. And then like 3 games in, the Jets are 0-3. Cowboys are 2-1, and everybody's like, oh, we still got a chance. We still got a chance. Please. Stop. Just stop.
Are you gonna do the meme? The Michael Jordan meme? Stop. Get some help.
Just like every year, man. I gotta, when it gets like golf with, it's a Yankees fan. We talk baseball first week of we're golfing together. We're talking baseball, and they're like, "Oh, Yankees winning it all this year." No. So, yeah, you can. Yeah, you should be able to win it. You have the best players. You bought the best players. You spent the most money.
By rights, you should win it. Yes.
Right. If you made it equal for everybody to have a chance to get these players, if you made it equal where every team had a chance to sign Shohei Ohtani, then the league would be better. If the Yankees are winning 100 games every year, and the Dodgers are winning 100 games every year, and the Braves are winning 100 games every year, those three, you just, okay, at the beginning of the year, you mark those 3 teams down as winning their division. If they don't, then that's a surprise. Yankees didn't win the division this year. As a matter of fact, they finished like 4th out of a five-team race, and the Red Sox finished 5th. So, they were 1 spot below them. You're right. So I mean, it was nice for me this year with that. I got to see Baltimore climb back to the top of the division. So, but it's just for me, it's everybody's in the jockstrap of the Yankees every year. It's annoying. Everybody loves the Yankees. I can't stand them.
I'm with you on that one.
Go Sports.
You decide on something, Kev? I saw you were typing.
I did. And this is what I had before. iPhones. iPhones are overrated. People like them. People love them, especially iMessage. I don't get it. How can people be so fucking clueless about cross-platform messaging tools? Why is one thing on one platform the best there is when it's actually not?
I'm with you, Kev.
me too.
I'm with you. The guys I golf with all have iPhones, and they all winter long, all summer long. They're like, you should just get an iPhone. And I was like, you should just get fucking Androids.
What? No, the conversation should be, what is it you like about iPhone? Oh, iMessage. Why? Oh, because everybody's a blue bubble. No. Get the fuck away from that. Use a platform other than fucking owned by Apple. Use WhatsApp. Use anything else. Get away from that. I don't get it. I don't get it.
And you just said that, and that's what they say. Like, oh, when you message, it comes up green, and when the rest of us message, it's blue.
Yeah.
When you send gifts and pictures, it's not the same format. Well, that's not my fucking problem.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's never been a reason why I like iPhone. It's just because the messages are blue. I'll tell you right now, the only reason I'm an iPhone fan is that's what I started with smartphones. That's it for me.
The good thing about, if you wanted to argue with me about why Apple is good, talk to me about their family controls. Okay? Apple has a phenomenal suite of family controls. You're a husband and a wife, and you have kids, and you want to give them iOS devices. You can control what's going on their devices, and you can see what's going on their devices if you set all them up under a family plan.
Figure it out.
Well, it's really not that hard, and I can help. Believe me, I would be more than happy to help with all of that.
It just took, we gave Avery an iPhone for Christmas. 3 days ago, we finally got the iPhone locator working correctly because it kept getting itself off. We don't know what the problem was. None of the shit we looked up really helped.
Yeah.
But my wife just started randomly changing things and figured it out, and now it works.
Shit.
Because we've never been able to get it to make a noise when she loses her phone.
So 100% of the problem with all of that is setting it up before you deliver the device to the child. It all has to be configured. It all has to be arranged beforehand. You can't do.
So no, I did that before I gave it to her, following the best tutorials I could find online. And I think I might have talked about it because it was a huge ordeal, because I actually had to take the phone we got from my wife and log in with my Apple ID that I had from years ago just to set shit up on her phone and then switch the other phone back to my wife. It was a ridiculous.
I remember that. Yeah.
You know what I did with my fucking new Google Pixel 8 Pro? I turned it fucking on and everything works.
So Google does have some good parental controls also. Again, I'm not sure that they're going to be any easier to use than what you found with the Apple devices, but those are the things that if you were to come to me and say, well, I use this platform because I like the parental controls, that is the one thing that I would not argue against. If you can get them figured out, and I completely, I'm not going to escalate anything you've said, Hugh, because I know for a fact that they're not necessarily easy to use. But those are the things that make the single platform, the single environment worthwhile. After that, the conversations have to be around, how do we use this with the people we care about? Not, I only care about these people because they have a fucking iPhone. What is wrong with people? Why does that become a conversation topic?
It's dumb. It's like it's elitist bullshit is what it is.
But it's worked because my wife's carrying an iPhone now because our daughter didn't give a shit about her Android phone. You know, she'd lose it, whatever, not take it with her. She's never away from her iPhone. That's what she wanted because all of her friends have it and all of their friends have it and all their teachers have it. And it's just what you have. And if it's not an iPhone, it's not even worth worrying about.
And it works.
And it works. And, you know, I've come to realize that while because I carried the iPhone 3, I briefly had an iPhone to try it out when they were brand new. And I didn't hate it. You know, it was one of my earlier smartphones. As soon as Android came out, I was all over that. But I think the reason that I struggle so much when I try to do on her things on her phone is iPhones, just like Android, has a system that to me is logical. I look at it and I can understand how it works on a new phone without having to learn about it. iPhone has a certain way things work. And I think the only way I can understand that is if I were to look at it with my head directly up my ass, and then it would all make sense. But I can't bend over that far, so I have to struggle with these things.
Well, you can shove your head up somebody else's ass that has an iPhone. It would be the same thing.
There you go.
You realize how much time you could have saved me if you told me that a year ago?
Sorry. It's the truth.
The other thing with the iPhone is there's so many security updates that come out for it. Like there's an update. There's an update at least once, twice a month.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I have both. I have an Android phone and I have an iPhone. I have my personal phone is an Android phone. My work phone is an iPhone because that's what my company used. That's what they have. Everybody has iPhones there. Now you can have an Android phone, but it doesn't work well with the software that they've got for the iPhones. So we're constantly updating our phone, security updating our phone. So in the Android phone, I think I've updated twice this year, maybe 3 times. But the Android phone, I think we've updated 6 or 7 times this year. So
I believe it.
So let me give you two very specific examples here. These examples are specific because they're things that I deal with on a daily basis. And in both of these examples, I don't care if you have Android, iOS, which is Apple, if you don't know what iOS is, or Linux. I don't give a shit what you have. I don't Windows, Apple, doesn't make a difference what you have. These two examples, if you just use these two things, it won't make any difference what your device in your pocket is. For mail, you use Outlook. For iOS or Android, it is the exact same experience, regardless of platform. For communicating with your friends, you use WhatsApp. What does it give you? Encrypted two-way communication, voice, and video conference. Regardless of platform, it's the exact same experience. And oh, by the way, it's better than anything Apple or Google bakes into their OS.
I think he's done.
It
You're
definitely
welcome.
gives us really
You're
cool
welcome.
pictures from New Zealand, huh, guys?
I mean, when you said our dungeon master was going on a trip, I thought, maybe he's going to Toronto or something. You know the kind of pictures you want to get from your potential new dungeon masters? Pictures from fucking Hobbiton, okay? That's what you want to see. Not that I didn't have faith in this guy before, but I have faith in him now.
I can't wait. The best is how he ended it with getting inspired. My only response in my head was, I think we're in trouble, boys. And I'm gonna circle back to that quick. I cannot wait for this. I think we're gonna have a blast. This is gonna be a good time. Have we officially announced what we're doing with this? I know we've talked about doing D&D.
Yeah. I think we have.
Okay. Then I'm not gonna do it again until I have, a sizzle reel to show. Okay. So I guess it's my turn. What do I think is overrated that everyone loves? Supernatural. No, I'm just
We
kidding.
haven't even watched enough of it to
2
know.
episodes.
Not
I've
And
scrolled-
you
everyone.
liked it.
I did. I enjoyed it. That was just to get you going. No, mine is close to yours, Hugh. It's not specifically Elf, but it is Christmas music. I hate Christmas music. It makes my skin crawl. And for no reason. Because when they're playing it up there and I'm cleaning the kitchen, this happened tonight. I bitch and complain about it, then all of a sudden humming along with it, and I'm like, no, I hate this. What? So no, for me it's Christmas music. And making that quick so we can move it right along and finish this shit up. Guys, what are you watching? It's time for the midstream report.
Well, I guess I will go. I started something new this week. I ran across something that I kind of peripherally knew about, but I'd forgotten about. It was from like 2011 through 2018 or something. I ran across Star Trek Continues. Now, this is a fan-made production of 11 episodes that continues the original Star Trek voyage, which was supposed to be a 5-year voyage that we got 3 years of on television. And it apparently spans all the way to the last episodes are supposed to be the end of that 5-year voyage. Now, it took years to make these episodes because it was people doing it for free and they weren't getting money for it. What's unique about these, and unfortunately the main actor who wrote and directed a lot and played Captain Kirk, his name is Vic Mignogna, I believe, ended up in a Me Too harassment scandal. Apparently he's done a lot of anime voice work and stuff, but now his career's kind of kaput. So I definitely want to say I found this out afterwards, and I'm certainly not extolling his virtues. But what I will say is, holy crap. This thing has some serious pedigrees, from the meticulous rebuild of the original Enterprise sets that you cannot tell they are not the same thing. The quality of the film or film process they use looks just like from the 60s. The lighting, the outfits, the pedigree of the actors. You've got the late Grant Imahara from Mythbusters playing Sulu, and we all know he's a huge Star Trek fan. And James Doohan's, who played Scotty, his son played Scotty in this.
Wow.
Yes, they had several people, recurring characters, from the original series. You've got Marina Sirtis, who played Deanna Troi on Next Generation. She's the voice of the computer. So there's some real pedigree here, and it is. You cannot watch this, and other than the actors being different, because you can see they're different, and not all the performances are perfect, but they're good enough. But you cannot look at this and say this doesn't feel like it was made by Desilu Productions in the late 60s.
Nice.
It is so fucking spot on. Look up Star Trek Continues. Just grab a YouTube video just so you can see the quality I'm talking about, because it is exceptional. In fact, Gene Roddenberry's son has gone on record as saying that if my dad was still alive, he would consider Star Trek Continues as canon, because not only does it look right, but all of the stories are written with the same spirit that he wrote the original series.
That's awesome.
No, it is excellent. Certainly, if you're a Star Trek fan, you should check it out. And I have to go stop this cat from meowing like crazy.
All right. So who wants to go next? Corbs, what are you watching?
I haven't really been watching too much. I did actually watch or rewatch a movie with Matthew Perry called The Whole Nine Yards.
Seen that.
So I watched that the other day. That was about the only thing I've really had a chance to watch. So
Okay. I kind of feel that. I haven't really gotten to watch much anything other than Raw. That's about it for me.
Kev?
We're deeply involved with Squid Game the Challenge. We have one more episode to go, the 10th episode. It's about to drop. I don't know if it's going to drop today or maybe tonight or tomorrow. Kathy looked for it earlier. I told her, she's got a friend of hers, the girl she works with, binged the whole thing, waiting for the last episode. I told her, I said, go ahead and watch it. That way you got something to talk about with her tomorrow, and I'll just watch it whenever. Didn't drop yet, so I don't know. She went to bed. It hasn't dropped yet, or maybe it has dropped since then. I don't know. I don't know when it came. It is fantastic. People don't really die, unfortunately, because it'd be really cool if they did. But it is a fantastic representation of the show. If you liked Squid Game, the show, you will love Squid Game, the challenge. Trust me on this. There are people in the challenge you will like, and there are people you will hate. And when those people go, you will be so happy. You will cheer. You will jump up and down. You'll be like, oh, yes, you're not going to win, you fucking moron. And it's so happy. It's such a good time.
Kevin, I will confirm that as of right now, that 10th episode is available.
Oh, it is? It just dropped then. Okay, good.
It's there, yeah.
Kevin's
okay,
gonna go.
I'll watch it. We'll watch it tomorrow. We'll watch it tomorrow sometime, and we'll have a good time with it.
Outstanding.
Squid Game the Challenge. Watch it. Please. It's a good time.
Netflix, right, Kev?
Yes, sir.
All right. And like I said, I'm not watching anything. I've had no time. So yeah, I've got nothing. I'm letting you guys down this week. So
Way to go, Boost.
It just is, Paul. It's Wednesday. We expect it.
We
We
expect you
expect
to let
it
us
from
down.
Paul. We expect Paul to let us down.
That's what I
He
do.
lets us down all the time. Oh, sorry, Paul. I didn't know you were still here.
Yeah, I'm still here. That's it. I'll see this a few times because I got to edit. But that's all I got, guys.
Well, that was awesome, Corbs. Thanks for that.
Wow.
Cut it right there. That's
WTF.
yeah. We haven't done one of those in a while.
Well, just drop your damn nuggets so we can.
Okay, you want a WTF file? So I was doing this podcast the other day that's been around for a really long time, and we try to be really professional. When one of the participants just belched out of nowhere for no reason
What
and
did
he
acted
sound-
like it wasn't a big fucking deal.
Who tries to be professional?
I guess it's just him.
Oh,
All
I mean, if
right.
you're not going to do it right, it's not worth doing.
All right. Corpse, say it again so we can get out of here. Not
Sorry.
to belch.
I can't bring that up on cue like that. So drop your fucking nuggets and let's get out of here.
All right. Was I popular in high school? No. But am I a respected and well-liked adult? Also no. So good night and megabyte me, bitches.
This has been a GeekPod Network production.